Hey guys, welcome to the Hone Zone where we help you multiply the assets you own. In today's video, we're doing a special series that we've never done before called What Would Hone Do? In this video of What Would Hone Do, I'm going to be looking at a property, evaluating it for all types of things, and letting you get an inside glimpse on what I would do in this particular situation. I was recently introduced to an Instagram page called Cheap Old Houses, where they list a whole bunch of properties that are old and cheap. So they said, Hone, could you go on there, pick a house, and tell us what you would do with it? And I said, absolutely. So let's get started. All right, here we are at Cheap Old Houses. Pretty clever name. And they have 1.6 million followers. Pretty good. So as the title says, these are old and cheap houses. So we have one for $43,000 here, $105,000 and $75,000 and $23,000, $65,000. Yeah, they're pretty cheap. Look at this giant house here. This giant house is $99,000. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So let's take a look at one of these and let's go into it, right? And let me take a look at this one here. This one is in Richmond, Indiana, right? Not Richmond, Virginia, but Richmond, Indiana. And this is being sold for just under $23,000. Just under $24,000, $23,900. So let's take a look at the pictures. So I'm looking at the pictures. It's kind of charming. Kind of charming, not bad. So let's keep on going through. Here's your little dining room. Man, this is old. It is a cheap old house. Look at that. Look at the carpet and the fireplace and that chandelier. I don't know. I'd want to rip everything out of this house based on what it is that, like, how I do my rehabs. It just irks me to look at this stuff because I'm like, I wouldn't necessarily want to live there, but hey, you got to think about the exit strategy, not your own personal preferences. It is a cheap old house. These are old doors, but they're pretty cool. And you could probably fetch a good amount of money for these doors. The problem is trying to find the actual buyer for these doors. So now with Instagram, they only allow the Instagram account to have 10 pictures per. So I decided, let me look up this listing. All right, we are in luck. I typed in the address in Google and the Zillow search showed that here's the house. It popped up, and now let's take a look. All right, it's telling me it's a 2-bed, 1-bath, 1,700 square foot house. That is a big house for only having 2 bedrooms. Inside, you got to look at the floors and all of the doors and hardware and everything else. Here's another shot at that fireplace. So we just get the same pictures, but slightly different angles. So you're trying to pick and choose what you can see from here. Here's a better look at the kitchen. I mean, overall, it's just an old house. So now let's take a look at what the properties might be worth. Because I don't have access to the Indiana market MLS, I'm gonna have to use Zillow. And here within Zillow, they have this neighborhood walk score of 60, but also in this map here, it's showing a bunch of different things like the values or estimated values around the neighborhood. So I'm seeing 44,000, 52,000, 49,000, 17,000, 54,000, 32,000, 19,000, 49,000. It's all around, let's call it $45,000 maybe for the ARV, and we're buying this for $24,000. In order to get our property to be pretty nice, we're going to have to dump in a significant amount of money. Let's say we put $20,000 into our property, $20,000 plus the $24,000 that it takes to buy it, together that's $44,000. Now, the question is it worth it? Would you do it? So you're buying a property for not a lot of money. You're all in for $44,000, but it's worth $44,000, and there's no real reason why that might change anytime soon. The other thing that I was very curious about is if I were to rent this property out, what would it rent for? So I pulled up the rents in Zillow, and I see that there's one for $575. This property is larger. It's 1,900 square feet. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath. And again, that's $575. You have a 3-bed for $850. It's a smaller square footage, but more bedrooms. And then you got this one for $695. It's again 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, but it's a smaller house. So maybe we can fetch somewhere around the 600 range, 650, maybe even 700 or so, right? Based on those numbers, would you do the deal? Well, here's the thing. You're all in for your ARV. So you are not buying at a discount, right? You are not buying at a discount. You are buying at the ARV. But not only that, you're doing the work. You're not even buying a turnkey property. So the amount of work that you would do in the property, and then you're just going to end up with a property at retail price. It's like, is it worth it? I don't know. In my opinion, I would much rather buy a property where I put the time and the effort into it so that I can get it at a discount, where the ARV's up here, but I'm all in for down here, right? Then I have that equity spread, and that's how my net worth grows every time I buy a property, and then I can cash out all of my money. The other thing that I like to do is do the Google Street View, right? And here we are, Google Street View. This is the street. There's actually not much to it, and I just from looking at it, I couldn't tell you what the ARV of these properties are. Just looking at the properties, like everything looks clean, I guess, but it kind of looks like a dark and dreary neighborhood. It's like where serial killers live or something. I don't know. Maybe it's a fantastic town. I have no idea. I'm not from a small town like this. I'm from a big bustling city, and where all the houses are sandwiched together. Maybe people love living here and they like have a good living and all that kind of stuff. But what's cool is every house on this block is a different shape. They're all different shapes and sizes, and it's neat. The other thing you might want to look for are the kind of cars that are in the neighborhood. So everything here is kind of like older model car. And these pictures are from 2020, from what Google tells me. As I keep on going, I'm looking for, are there any vacancy? Like, are there properties that are torn down or abandoned or spooky or anything like that? But yeah, I can't really make heads or tails of anything. So the only thing that I can do is run the numbers. All right, so let's at least do the numbers. All right, for those who have never seen one of these, this is called the NBI Calculator. This is what I use for determining what my loan amounts are going to be, or the monthly mortgage payments, or all that kind of stuff. I can use this to calculate the number of payments that are left. I can switch interest rates. I can do all kinds of stuff with this calculator. Super, super powerful. So let's talk about this deal. $45,000. Okay, $45,000 times 0.75 equals $33,750. I'm going to put that number in that PV category there. Let me zero out everything else so that you can watch as I work this. So $33,750 would be the loan amount that I would be taking on this property. That's 75% of the ARV, and we said that this ARV would be $45,000. All right, now let's talk about the interest, let's talk about the loan, let's talk about all that kind of stuff. So let's say it's a 30-year mortgage, so that's 360 months. I will put it in the N there for number of months. And then let's talk about the interest rate. Let's say it's a 4.75% interest. I will throw that in the IYR box right there. So now that I have 4 out of the 5 boxes filled out, I have my N as 3,600, IYR at 4.75, my PV, present value, negative 33,750, and my FV, future value, set at 0. I want to see what my monthly mortgage payment would be, PMT, principal and interest. So I hit that button to solve for it, and boom, I get $176 a month for the mortgage payment. All right, great. So from there, what else do I got to do? All right, so now let's talk about what I'm going to rent the property out for. Let's say that I'm going to rent the property out for $600. Oops, $600, right? So then I got to subtract a couple of things from that. So from the $600, I have to subtract the taxes and the insurance. I looked it up, and it's going to be roughly $50. So minus $50 from there. Now, I might have to pay for water. I have no idea how it works in these towns, but I might pay for water. So let's say that's another 50 bucks. Okay, so then we're at $500. I would also like a property manager to take care of things. So let's say the property manager has a minimum monthly payment of 90 bucks. That might be the case because most property management companies, they charge percentage of the income, but the income here is so small that they're gonna be like, no, we're gonna have to charge you a minimum. So they might charge like a minimum of 90 bucks. So minus 90 bucks. And then I'm gonna have to set aside some money for maintenance every single month. So minus 100 bucks. Okay? And then so that's management and maintenance. We got the utilities, taxes, and insurance. All right, good. So we are at $310 NOI. Okay, net operating income, we're at 310. Now we have to subtract the 176, which is the monthly mortgage payment. So our cash flow is $134 a month. Okay, $134 a month. The ARV was $45,000. We're all in for about $45,000 after rehab because we're gonna have to fix up that property. Like maybe we can rent it out as is, but there's a good chance that maybe we're gonna have to do something about it. So let's take the $45,000, and then we are going to subtract 33,750, right? So we have 11,250 trapped in the deal. Okay, so 11,250, remember that number, 11,250. That's what we got trapped in the deal. Then we take 310 minus that 176 again, right? What do we have? 134. That's our cash flow per month times 12 equals 1608 divided by 11,250. Boom, we got a 14% cash on cash return. Would you do the deal? I don't know. I don't know if I would do the deal. Here's a couple of things. You have to have your team in place. So if you need something fixed, you're going to have somebody in place to fix that. If you are looking to manage the property, you're going to need your property manager in place. And you're going to need your whole crew to rehab it all, right? And then you're going to need your lender to actually give you that loan for $33,750. You got to have all those pieces in place. Assuming that's all done and there for you, 14% return. Do the deal, not to do the deal. I'm not sure. It's definitely not a flip. We gotta take that right off the table. It's definitely not a flip because you're all in for $45,000. The ARV is $45,000. Even though you refinance, you're all in for $45,000. There's no way around it. Unless for some reason the property values around there go up, there's no flip here. But you could rent it out. You could collect the 14% cash on cash return and then hold it for 1,000,000 years, have that property manager on it, and then flip it later. Maybe the property values go up to 100,000, 200,000. Who knows? Maybe this becomes a hot area. Richmond, Indiana, the hot spot of the country. You never know. It's cheap enough to get in, but you do have money stuck in. You might have some issues with lending. But if all of those things are taken care of, then, hey, go for it. Now, in this case, what would Hon do? I wouldn't do it. You'd have too much money into it, and that rehab job that I was considering taking it from $24,000 to $45,000, the amount of work, you're putting in like $20-something thousand. That's just to get it kind of nice. But what's going to happen is there's going to be deferred maintenance. With that $20,000 or so budget, you're not going to be able to accomplish everything you need to accomplish. So there are things that are going to pop up that are going to require even more money for you to dump in there, and the value's just not there. The value could go up in the future, but that's speculating. I don't like to speculate on appreciation because appreciation is one of those things, it's like icing on the cake. So try not to speculate. Don't bet on the appreciation. It's like, oh, but the houses are so cheap, they can't go down anymore. Yes, but they can stay that cheap for a very long time. So if you want to tie up a whole bunch of money into a property and then have to continue to dump more money into it in the future for no increase in value, then that's what you got here. But that's not what I like to do. So in this case, what would Hon do? I would avoid this, but it was a fun example to walk you guys through, and I hope you guys learned a lot from this example here. All right, guys, if you like that video, press like, press subscribe, press share, press all the buttons. You know what to do. I release new videos every Monday and Wednesday, and I plan on doing more of these series of What Would Hone Do. This is the first one. This one was kind of not smooth, but they will get better, and I will have better examples to show you, and eventually I will find one where What Would Hone Do absolutely do the deal, and that's going to be very exciting. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.